Hello students, today through this video I am going to make you listen to the short story A Cup of Tea written by Katherine Mansfield. Here you will learn in detail about the story A Cup of Tea. The author starts this story with the appearance and nature of Rosemary, who is the protagonist of this story. Here to cover up the fact that Rosemary is not that beautiful, the author described her as young, brilliant, extremely modern, well-dressed and having knowledge about the latest books. Rosemary's friends included important people, artists, etc. Some were charmingly old-fashioned. Some of her friends would be terrible to describe in words, but there were some who were presentable and amusing. My dear students, next in this story, we will learn something about Rosemary's personal life. Rosemary got married 2 years ago. She had a child. The name of her child was different from that of common children. This clearly shows upper-class hypocrisy. Her husband loved her. Rosemary was actually very wealthy, and being a snobby upper-class woman, she would go to Paris for shopping rather than going to the Bond Streets like normal person. My dear students, after that we come to know about how Rosemary used to do shopping in this story. While shopping, she explains her likes and dislikes in a stylish way and also shows her attitude. Of course, she gets respect from the attendant. Rosemary loved antiques. The shopkeeper loved serving Rosemary, who greeted her with a smile every time. Here the shopkeeper starts flattering Rosemary and trying to impress her by showing her his goods. The shopkeeper had kept a special antique item just for Rosemary. Rosemary begins to examine that special piece very carefully in her own way and she likes it very much. Meanwhile, Rosemary looks at her beautiful hands. On the other hand, the shopkeeper also gets lost in the thoughts of Rosemary. She was not sure about her purchase and leaves the shop. It was afternoon in the winter season and was raining outside. Since winter is a symbol of sadness, for some reason Rosemary too becomes sad, probably because of not buying that antique piece. She was in her thoughts when suddenly a girl comes from somewhere and asks her if she can talk to Rosemary for a moment. The girl looks young, thin, dark and shadowy. She was almost like crying. Rosemary felt the helplessness of the girl as a thrill for herself, and in her mind she considered this incident as an adventure. As per the stranger girl's wish, Rosemary immediately agreed to offer tea to her. At first, the girl doubted that Rosemary would take her to the police station because the girl was hungry and hungry people get easily convinced. She agreed to go with Rosemary. Rosemary, who was a hypocritical upper-class woman, traps the stranger girl and begins to think of herself as too noble for her deeds. Soon after, she takes the stranger girl into the hall with a grand welcome. Rosemary had to make herself look good, and she did everything possible to remain great in front of that poor girl and the people of the world. Till then, it was fine, but the girl's condition had deteriorated due to hunger and Rosemary had nothing to do with it. Instead of serving a cup of tea to the stranger girl, Rosemary was busy doing other unnecessary things. The girl had to remind her again for tea. The irony of the story is that when the girl gets tired of shouting, she finally gets a cup of tea. Rosemary preferred smoking for herself. The girl who was tired suddenly comes to life and starts blooming. Before Rosemary can start the conversation, her husband arrives. Soon after, Rosemary introduces the stranger girl to her husband Philip. He calls Rosemary to the library. He inquires about the stranger girl. Here, Rosemary shows her curiosity and tells her husband everything. The protagonist of this story wanted her husband to be nice with the girl. Because he was aware of Rosemary's nature, he willingly praised that stranger girl in front of his wife. Hearing Philip praising the stranger girl, Rosemary couldn't stop herself and felt extremely jealous. This exposes Rosemary's artificial behavior and hypocrisy at its worst. At the same time, Rosemary's romantic dream about the girl comes into conflict with the reality of life. She immediately sends the girl away by giving her some money and then starts to woo her husband. Through the character of Rosemary Fell, we understand the theme of the story, which shows class consciousness, status of women, consumerism, and extreme materialism. The story ends here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you.